All right, so welcome in everyone. This is Anna Marie at Just Stamp. Today I'm presenting my Stars and Stripes card bash. You can get this card kit for free in the mail with the $35 order placed in my store by the 20th, or if you're local, join me for class on the 24th. I would love for you to craft with me. All right, so red, white, and blue, right? That inspires patriotism and a celebration of this sweet land of liberty. I am starting off with this fun card. It's got a technique on it. And oh my gosh, this is featuring my favorite item out of the new catalog, which is that Party Banners bundle. It includes banners and those cool large letters. That's how I cut my USA. And let me just say, during class, I'm going to try and call out what is included in that BOGO sale, because it's surprising how many things are included. So this little card, it's got one selection of red, white, and blue. I'm going to be showing you several different ways to grab your red, white, and blue. And you can see the cute little focal or the artwork here. This is cut from the Country Flowers bundle. And I have a little label here because I want to remind myself. This bundle is on the last chance list, and it's also part of the BOGO sale because it was part of a suite. So you can get this bundle for 50% off when you choose another suite bundle at full price. And it is on low inventory. I think it's a really country Americana style, and that's why I picked it for my class. And my red, white, and blue version for this card is real red, so that's what I'm stamping with. And my blue is boho blue. No, not blowho, boho blue. Misty Moonlight. I'm telling you, retired colors already. That's Misty Moonlight. I've got Night of Navy, Old Olive, Basic White, and my greeting, Hip Hip Hooray, that happens to come from another bundle that I have used to create these Stars and Stripes card bash cards. So the paper I'm using, I want to call that out too, because that is the, I'm going to grab it here so I don't mess it up. It's the Country Lace Designer Series paper. It is on the last chance list, and it is part of the buy one get one suite sale. So $12.50 is regular price. If you grab another suite DSP, you can get this one for 50% off. So let me tell you what we need. Oh, I'm already losing things, so let's get started. I have pre-cut many of the items, so we won't be here for too long. I'm going to start with my card base, Misty Moonlight, and that Country Lace paper, which I have pre-cut. This is the, let's see, stack, cut, and shuffle technique. And I am going to be doing a video this week on that. So that puts the pressure on me to get it done, right? All right, so I'm going to start off with my standard card base. And again, if you join the class, this is all going to be cut and prepped for you. If you place your order to get the card kit for free, it's all going to be cut and prepped for you. So what a great way to get started with your crafting. So these papers were cut. They were stacked three sheets, one of each pattern. And there's only one way to put these together. So let's see if I can do that correctly. So it's going to go there. And again, this is all part of the stack, cut, and shuffle technique. So I've got 3 different patterns from that paper pack going on. I love the backdrop that it creates for my USA lettering. And this goes flat. Whoops, I just dropped a little tiny bit of glue on there. Let's see, trying to do too many things. And I'm always a little bit leery that my Tombow liquid glue is going to be at the end of the supply, and I'm gonna have like about 1/8 of an inch border here. So the designer series paper, the pattern paper, started off at 4 inches by 5 1/4. Trying to do too many things at one time. I was double checking to make sure I was still on the page. This is flat adhered. So if you don't like the liquid glue, the green glue, some people refer to it as, you could always use seal as well. Okay, so then I'm going to put it right down in here. So I love the way these patterns coordinate together. One looks kind of like, like a little denim, basic Misty Moonlight denim. One's a soft stripe, and then that pretty floral image. It just says Americana to me, so. And the blues are very vintagey. I have a nice pop of red. And again, I'm just creating a tiny pathway, or a little gutter right in there. So simple. And again, I'm going to be sharing that stack, cut, and shuffle technique to help you get started with it. Then I took my die cuts. I die cut from Real Red, Basic White, and then Misty Moonlight. And I did pop these up on dimensionals. And let's see, I didn't pre-attach my dimensionals. I mean, I got to do something right on camera. Although it's nice when it's pre-done because it reduces or decreases the likelihood that things are going to start to get lost here. I'm leaving a little bit clear here of dimensionals because I'm going to be sliding the lettering or layering it up slightly. So I want to leave that path open to make my creative choice at the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and add my U. I love these letters. The size is just awesome. And I'm going to go over about 1/2 inch and almost to the horizontal center. Almost. I always like to leave a little bit wider border at the base. Okay, so there's my S. And I'm using the standard size dimensionals. These letters are made just for the standard size. Sometimes you need your minis, but not in this case. Okay, so I'm going to slide that S. Notice how I slide it under on one section and over top at the top. And I'm just looking make sure I have my baseline is aligned there. And my last, my A. So these cards, not just for 4th of July, they would be perfect for our other patriotic days, or just for the summer months, because everything's red, white, and blue. I love walking the neighborhood and seeing the flag outside and seeing the banners. Gives you a nice sense of this sweet land of liberty, right? Okay, so again, I'm going to slide the A just under the bottom of the S. There you go. So next, I've got 2 that I pre-cut. This is from Country Flowers in Old Olive. And I'm kind of gonna arrange it to make sure I like it before I adhere it. So I'm gonna put the blue. This is Night and Navy, the little die cut that cut 2 flowers at once. Very cool when that happens. And then I've got Basic White, so I'm getting my red, white, and blue. Whoops, my red, white, and blue. I think I'm gonna create off. There we go. And put one up there. So it's just a little cluster of flowers. And as with flower arranging, it's kind of your prerogative where you want everything. If you're happy with it, here's what I like to do. Don't move it. I'm gonna grab my mini glue dots. Have you seen me do this before? And I'm going to leave it in position, grab a dot, and just start adhering. Drop a little dot behind. Let's see. As I said, it's always harder when you're on camera. There we go. And again. And this helps to reduce the messy, sticky mess that you might create with the liquid glue when you're trying to get just a dot out. And I'm going to put this one up slightly higher. There. Almost done here. So it's nice, clean, and simple design, but it's the colors that make it, right? I don't know, when you think of patriotic cards or just the theme, what do you think of? I mean, really, apple pie, the flag, the fireworks, all that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Look how I've got my little cluster of flowers there. And now I'm ready to add that to my card front. And this time I'm gonna use my minis because that's a tiny space. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just add the dimensionals at the base. I don't wanna double stack the dimensionals. So up here, I'm just gonna put a little glue dot down at the base. I'll add the dimensionals. So there's that. And you can see I just added 2 because of the tiny little spot. I'm gonna bring that up in here. And I still wanna secure, I wanna make sure I'm within my perimeter. So I had a little leaf hanging over, and that's gonna be a problem when you put it in the envelope, right? Okay, so bring back the glue dots and add a couple underneath to secure that in place. So that take your pick tool, it's always a help. I try to avoid touching the mini glue dots because that just makes a sticky mess. And trust me, the mini glue dot wins. Okay, I do have some stamping to do. Let's stamp our greeting. And this one says hip hip hooray. And it's coming from the Round We Go stamp set, hip hip hooray. I have my label on that because guess what? This is on the last chance list. It's still available. I love the pinwheels that you can create, either 3D or just stamped. And if you don't want this stamp set, trust me, the dies are awesome and they're on discounted for only $24. So you can either get the bundle at regular price, although it's last chance, or you can buy just the dies at a sale price. And I'm gonna stamp in Night and Navy. And let me move that up a tiny bit. I've got a tiny piece of Misty Moonlight. And because it's a photopolymer step, I'm gonna put down some chipboard. That just helps with the backing. Hip hip hooray. Let's see if I did a good inking. Yes, I did. I'm happy with that. And I'm gonna snip that a tad. Just a tiny little border there. And what I'm gonna do, when I add that to my card, because my letters are already up on dimensionals, I'm gonna add just one dimensional here, right back there. I'm gonna add a glue dot to the right because it's gonna land on top of the S, which is already popped up. So if I do right around there, hip hip hooray, and there's my card front. So we can finish up the inside as well. And I'm gonna do my basic insert is white, hip hip hooray, and I'm gonna borrow a stamp from the Round We Go as well that says time to celebrate. I'm gonna stamp this in Night and Navy. kind of centered. And let's see, someplace on my desk, I thought I had another stamp I wanted to put on. Ah, it's right here. Oh my gosh. So I've got some little fireworks going on that are blue. Time to celebrate. There we go. And the inside, or the insert, gets, let me bring in my card, it gets flat adhered, a little bit of glue. There we go. And I am ready to finish off my card. I'm going to put in some flower centers here, just 3. And these are the antique pearls in 2 sizes. Let me grab my, take your pick, and I'm going to grab some embellishments and pop them right on the little flowers. All right. So, hip hip hooray, USA, time to celebrate. And when we open it up, there you go. I love the red, white, and blue, and that technique of these stack, cut, and shuffle makes a great backdrop for our patriotic card. All right, well, the next one, I promised, let's see, thinking I'm gonna do this card, and I'm going to bring back in, I'm going to show you the Round We Go bundle again, because I am using the dies on this card, as well as that nice little greeting. Here is card number 2, super cute, I think. I'm biased, right? Okay, so my red, white, and blue. This time I'm using different reds, different blues. Thank you. Sandy says she loves my card. Oh, my dear friend, my kind and wonderful friend. Time to celebrate. And I snuck in that party banner in the background, and this is the Country Woods paper. Remember, that is included in that suite sale. It's part of a suite. You can get the paper, buy one, get one. So buy one regular price, get the second for 50% off. And my card base this time, it's a little bit different. It's a vertical orientation, so it's 4 1/4 by 11. And it's basic beige. And I pre-cut my banner, and the banner goes on flat. So, you know, this one was a dilemma because the back is a beautiful wood grain too, and I think that the flowers would look just gorgeous on that side as well. So as always with the designer series paper, you have an option, and I'm not offended if you switch it up a little bit. So flat glue, this banner is slightly smaller than the card base, so I'm going to have a border all the way around. The die cuts that I pre-cut are from the Round We Go bundle. And it looks like I already lost one. How can that be? Where did it go? All right, I might have to make do. Oh no, I kind of think it's, oh, it's there. It got stuck. There are 2 flowers there. Okay, so, and I only need 2. I somehow cut an extra. And I cut the little leaf branches from the country flowers. And here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a dimensional to the bottom layer of each. Now you're going to notice the little flowers are slightly different. One has a rounded tip, one has that little pointed tip. And to give it a little bit of dimension, I took my bone folder on the top layer and I just kind of curled the cardstock a tiny bit. Did I mention the colors? So I've got Misty Moonlight, Cherry Cobbler is my red, and Old Olive, and then Basic Beige flower. And this is gonna go right on top. And you just wanna get that petal in between to create your flower. And again, I'm gonna curl the ends and then add. So really simple. And I will tell you that early birds who join my in-person class will get a bonus card, and it features the Round We Go stamp set. So not the dies, but the stamps. And then I have one final, as well as if you place your online order, you're gonna get the bonus card as well. And I will be sharing with you the bonus card before we head out class. There we go. It has to be just, oops, just warning, fair warning, you want to be really gentle with the dies because the little petals are fragile. There we go. All right, and so next I'm kind of gonna lay out my thought here, and before I actually secure them, I'm gonna stamp. So that's gonna go there, and there, and there. And this one, again, I'm gonna take that time to celebrate. Whoops. And this blue is Secret Sea. So I've got another blue going on. And that is to share that if you don't have the exact colors, you can substitute something that's pretty close. So I'm gonna just do my time to celebrate right onto the banner layer. I think I'm gonna put that there and put that there. And let's see, I'm going to add the same way. Remember, once I lay it out, oops, that just went flying. My glue dots just go flying sometimes. Once I lay it out, I don't want to be picking things up too much because it kind of takes away from my layout there. So it's easier for me just to slide a little glue dot right in place. And I am loving the day. I can hear the birds out singing, which to me also would be very patriotic. Some little birds on your cards, and I'm going to be creating that as well. Once I got started, and I'm so happy that my friend Pixie asked for this class because I'm really having fun with the patriotic cards. It's a perfect time to step back and appreciate, right? And I'm gonna put one right in there. Whoops. Okay, so then this part I'm gonna go ahead and add with glue. Now that I know where I want my flowers, these can just be kind of stuck on there with liquid glue. And I just want to say too, on my original, I put a little tiny dot on some of the petals to secure it down completely. It just helps. And I try to do just the bottom petals. There. And then one more. My Misty Moonlight. So I'm already missing Boho Blue, which was an ink color that retired. What I'm finding is sometimes I can substitute the cloud cover for that two-tone effect, or that color buddy. All right. What do you think? I think it's coming along, right? Okay, so let's do our insert. And this time, let's swap out our greeting. We've already got time to celebrate on the outside. Let's put our hip, hip, hooray on the inside. Let me see if I can find my chipboard. I've already misplaced it. How can that be? I found it. Call off the 911 call, right? Okay, so there's my chipboard. Got my paper. On the inside, I'm going to do the hip hip hooray. And again, I can do my little fireworks, and I need to clean this because I'm going to use a different color ink this time. Cherry cobbler. Let's see. Coming up. So I'm going to have fun with this one. I'm going to do my fireworks in a couple different colors. Make sure I clean here. And I'll add a couple of blue right over top. There we go. Add our red, white, and blue on the inside. And there we go. I'm going to put that here. Close up my ink pads. I'm always nervous. I'm going to stick my elbow in an ink pad. We're going to add our insert. Time to celebrate. And again, that goes flat adhered. And you know, I like just a little snail trail because I don't want anything oozing out. I've got about a 1/4 inch border on all sides. And let's embellish. So you can see I've done flower centers, and this time I am using the little, I'm not quite sure what color that's supposed to be, the party dots. Super cute, and to me they look like little flower centers. And look how many you get. I'm just going over top with these little embellishments. So I'm putting 3 on each flower center. Hey, I have a whole bunch, so why hold back, right? You do get 2 sizes as well. So it looks like on my original I have the larger dot, and on this card I'm putting the smaller one, so you'll have plenty. So these are called party dots. Looks like there's a pink and a pool party, and I think that they might even be part of a suite. They are on the birthday celebration suite, I believe. Could be wrong. It's hard to keep all this stuff in the brain. All right, so there we go. Time to celebrate. My second card with the little flowers, red, white, and blue. I think it says, land of the free, home of the brave, right? All right, so there we go. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I have another card for you. This one requires a little bit more stamping, but I think it's super worth it. And I'm going to tell you, this one includes a current stamp set called Painted Stripes. It is one of those giant background stamps, and that's why I'm going to be bringing in my favorite tool, the Stamparatus. It also includes a die cut from the Perennial Postage dies. These are on sale. They're part of a suite, so they are included in the suite sale. And so I'm trying to encourage you. There are so many things on sale because they're part of a suite. All right, so here is card number 3. What do you think? I'm loving it. I like the red, white, and blue. To me, it looks like the flag with the pretty misty moonlight painted wood background, a little bit white on the ground here. That stamped Perennial Postage label. And I have used the stamps from Country Flowers this time, that cute little jug. So the jug, the flower market, the flowers, so fun. And I get to color with the blending brushes, not the blending brushes, sorry, the blending pen, the Stampin' Blends. Oh my gosh, so many things to remember. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to create my card base. This is Crumb Cake, and it's the standard 8.5 by 5.5. And I am going to layer up. This is the Country Woods paper, and it's hard to use this size because Look at this side. I don't know. It's always a dilemma. I think I already said that today. This pattern that I'm putting glue on, I think was my favorite just because it had so many weather-worn woods to it. And I'm going to attach straight. Whoa, I almost did that sideways. There is only one way to put it on. It's got about 1/8 of an inch border on 3 sides. I'm going to have a little gutter of crumb cake showing, because then I'm going to put the weathered paper, or sorry, the weathered wood. On the flip side is the brown. That's the whitewash. And again, a little bit of liquid glue. And I'm going to put it about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, so you can see I have that little gutter in there. There we go. All right, so there's my card base. Let's create my background. And as I said, I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. And I'm going to ink up. So let's see. I have to take that off view. I'm going to ink up with Cherry Cobbler. And so when I do this, I just like to flip the ink pad open and just pounce on it. This is the striped, painted stripes are just that. They're painted, so they are kind of distinctive stripes. There are areas that are a little lighter, a little darker. That's intentional. Don't think it's your stamp or that you're not doing a good job. Okay, so I inked up. I'm going to be pretty happy with that. Let me slide my pre-die cut paper in there. And if I close the lid, I have to do it off camera. So let me just see. I just want to make sure I'm straight and covered. And then I have this little tool that helps me apply even pressure on the Stamparatus. It's a little handmade tool that was gifted to me by one of my team members. Hey, I'm going to be sharing this a little bit later. This month, I had 3 team members that celebrated their 5-year anniversary. How cool is that? So I had a wonderful time this past weekend with my team, and we talked about when they first joined and why they joined, all kinds of info. And I am just so blessed that they have been with me for 5 years already. Crazy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add it. And I think I'm going to do it this way. Wait. Maybe I want to do it this way. Okay, flat. And all I was doing was looking to see where the lighter areas landed, because I'm going to be covering part of it anyway. All right, so I have about 3/4, maybe half an inch border all the way around. There we go. There's my red, white, and blue background. And let's do some stamping. I'm going to set that aside right here. Bring in my die cuts. Let me grab my chipboard. These are, again, photopolymer stamps. I have my little jug. I have my leafy plant, and I have my flowers. And I am stamping in Memento ink because I am going to be using my Stampin' Blends. I'm going to try and tidy up, and I'm going to take a sip, take a breath, take some coffee. Oh my goodness, I haven't had a full cup of coffee this morning. Why? I usually by this time have had at least 3. I had a dentist appointment this morning, actually an orthodontics appointment, and I am just amazed. I had x-rays taken, which felt like I was, it was a futuristic x-ray. That machine just spun around my head. Amazing. No more bite wings that they put in your mouth that you have to bite onto that hurt the inside of your mouth. I'm so whiny at the dentist office. Just amazing. I can't even. Okay, I'm stamping down. Hopefully I do a good job here. I pre-die cut these. There we go. because it's photopolymer, you usually can get a pretty good placement. This little rose one might be trickier, but I'm good with it. You know what kind of a stamper I am. It's handmade, right? Alrighty, I'm gonna go for it. There. And I have one more. Okay, I lied. I have two more. On the little jug, I have stamped that little Flower Market logo, so sweet, right onto the jug. Now I have one more, and this is the leafy plant, and you'll notice the block's a little bit different. I ran out of my D block, so I grabbed one of my paper pumpkin acrylic blocks, which is a little bit different, but it works in a pinch. I do like the usual Stampin' Up! Blocks better, but these paper pumpkin ones will work. They just aren't as accommodating or ergonomic. There we go. So there's my little plant. And guess what? We are going to get to color. So let me put away my Memento Black. I'm going to bring in my pens and tell you, I have brand new Smoky Slate blends. My blends get so battered because I share them during class. And I'm going to be using Old Olive for my plant. So Smoky Slate, Old Olive, and also Cherry Cobbler for those roses. And then one last one, I'm using Misty Moonlight for those wee little flowers. So let's get to some blending. And let me just say right here, right now, I am not the master colorer, but I do like the blends. They make everybody look like an artist. I'm starting off with the dark Old Olive, and I'm gonna do the little spots, the little shadowy bits, the little lines, the veins maybe on the plant. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of the darker color in here. Doesn't look very pretty yet. And then I'm going to come in with my light Old Olive. Whoopsie, I'm just going crazy. And this is one of those brush tips that has had a long life, a long happy life. I think it's going to be, whoops, I ran right into a little space that probably I shouldn't have colored. Let's see if I'm going to be okay with it. I do have a color lifter in case I need to lift that color. The tips tend to get worn when the blends get passed around during class, and that's just what happens, right? The bullet tip, the pen tip, usually lasts a little bit longer than the brush tip. Is that the same with you? It's just hard to keep on top of which ones need to be replaced. Yeah, I usually have to add a pair to my order. And then right through here, and I think I'm gonna grab my color lifter. Let's see if I can take out some of this green. Let me grab that lifter. And there's a couple spots. Oops, again. Yikes. Whoa, that is not good. The whole bit came out. Does that happen to you? Let's see if I can. Nope. I grabbed the wrong one. Sometimes the entire cylinder comes out. Let me see, I'm gonna try it. Sometimes the entire cylinder comes out when I pull the tip. And I think the solution is to super glue that little barrel that goes around. But of course, I'm always on to the next thing. All right. So there's my plant. Let me go bring in my brand new smoky slate. I'm going to start with my darker areas. So I know I want that rim, that little, it's not really a rim, right around there. And then the base. And I'm using the bullet tip. Just going to come around the edges a little bit. And then bring in with the light smoky slate and do my overall color. There we go. You could use watercolor pencils. You could also use a drop of ink with a watercolor brush. So lots of ways to get around the coloring technique. Typically when I'm using my blends, it needs to be a layered piece, because if you color right on your card base, it will bleed into the paper, and you can see it on the flip side. So you just want to be mindful of that. All right, so there's my little jug. Let's keep going here. Oh, I'm going to need my old olive for a few little leaves on this die cut. So there's an option when you're stamping and die cutting. You can stamp and then cut, which is what I recommend always when you have red rubber stamps. If you have photopolymer stamps, then you can get away with die cutting first, so you can do all your die cutting in advance. There we go. I'm gonna leave that there just in case, and then I'm gonna come in with my cherry cobbler, do those little roses. There's about 3 of them on the image. So red roses, right, for Americana. And then I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight on those tiny little flowers, so I can incorporate all the colors. So what else would you put on your patriotic cards? So I also mentioned birds. You could put dogs if you have them. With the USA would be super cute. Oh, I know. Another team member mentioned maybe watermelon. At one point we had some watermelon images in some stamp sets. It'll be cute. I'm going to do a little bit of shadowing here with my dark. Just in here. So all that to say, you can really get resourceful. So again, my first inclination when Pixie asked about class was like, what stamp set would I use? And I found I actually have quite a few on my shelf. In fact, some of them had to come out of the retirement box, even though they're still available. As soon as I saw Country Woods was on Last Chance, I pulled it and put it in a box, because technically I don't want to be demonstrating with it if stampers can't buy it, right? That's the worst, when you show something to someone and say, oh, but you can't get this anymore, it's not for sale. So I don't like to do that, but in this case, it's actually a win, because many of the items, as I pointed out, are in that sweet sale. All right, now I'm going to take my bullet tip on my Misty Moonlight, and I'm just going to do little tiny dots on these little tiny flowers. So I don't know what kind of flowers these are, but I know in my garden right now, I have little flowers that are just making my heart smile every time I step outside. It's the yarrow, and the little yellow flowers are just so happy. Now I know I have to be careful with that yarrow because it's going to be aggressive. It might want to overtake my entire garden, but for right now, they're so pretty. And so I'm thinking these little wee flowers could also be a golden color as well. So very, very easy coloring, as it always is when I do it, because as I said, I'm not a colorer. I'd rather stamp than hand color. Okie doke, let's get this going here. I'm going to add these with dimensionals. So I put my 3 pieces. I'm going to bring in my standard size dimensionals. And don't forget, stick with me till the end. I'm going to show you the bonus card. Early birds will get to make this at class. And if you place your online order, I will include this kit as well. So this kind of goes centered right around there. And then I'm going to kind of check out where I want my plant. And I'm going to want my roses here. And so these are also dimensional. I just want to be mindful not to put a dimensional at the bottom of the roses. I'll put it higher up, as well as on my greenery. So let's see, this goes up through, through there. Trying to figure out how this goes. Okay, that way. So putting it up high, I'd rather have it higher than lower. I want to stretch out that element right up there. And then again, I need to be mindful of where I'm putting my dimensionals. I think I'm just going to put one tiny little mini in that corner. Oops, I already did that. Okay, never mind. I'm way ahead of myself. Sometimes I do things without realizing I did it, remembering I did it. Hopefully this doesn't impede. I'm just going to do it at a little bit different angle maybe. And then I need a glue dot under that spot. And bad news, my take your pick is not at my fingertips anymore. So let's see, what can I use? I can use my reverse tweezers to grab a glue dot. And I'm going to stick that down. There, I'm going to get another one. So always my favorite adhesives, liquid glue, mini glue dots, and my Stampin' Dimensionals. There we go. And since this one has no greeting on the outside, let's make a greeting for the inside. And we're going to stamp in black. And let's bring back that time to celebrate. Right there. And let's bring in our little fireworks. We're using cherry cobbler on this card. Right there. Okay, I'm happy with that. If you haven't noticed, I'm a minimalist, so I don't want to keep adding to it, overdoing, because when it's pretty, right? You don't have to keep wondering what else can I put on this card. All right, so there we go. Here is our insert. Right there. All right. There is our little flower market card. And we did our time to celebrate with our daisy flowers, and we did our Hip Hip Hooray USA card. Let's see, how can I? And let me share with you the bonus card that I created as well with the Round We Go. This time I did more modern, red, white, and blue, a little bit brighter. This is my Happy 4th card, using the Round We Go stamps to create those little pinwheels and lots of silver. You're going to be wondering, like, where did I get those stars? Because remember, Stampin' Up! Has no Patriotic stamp sets or bundles. So I reached into my vault. These are the stitch stars, which I did not let go of. And I've got pretty much just one die cut from the stitch stars that goes across. And then these happen to pop out from the die cut. And my colors were Blueberry Bushel, Poppy Parade. So a much brighter red, white, and blue, and silver. And I will post this one as well. I'm not going to go through the instructions on making it, but you can see it's got some texture with the new embossing folder. I think it's called Glass and Garden. And yeah, I'm loving it. So that's the bonus. These are the 3 cards in these Stars and Stripes card bash. I hope you like them. I hope you get to craft. And most importantly, I hope that you can send your cards. If you're local, think about joining me for class on the 24th. If you're not, you can still get the kit. And I'm going to invite you to like and follow this page. If you missed anything, you can skip over to Just Stamp on YouTube. And those are our cards for today. I'm Anna Marie, and I'm here to remind you to make a card and make someone's day. Please reach out if I can do anything for you.